Hi everyone, welcome to a Sip and Spin Spindle Spotlight. Today's spindle is another, what I would like to call non-traditional styles of spindle, although this particular style does have kind of an industry norm. They're all going to look relatively the same or relatively similar. The spindle, of course, that I'm talking about is the Scottish Dealgan. And this is a unique spindle in that it has this cross on the bottom, and the way that it is constructed, it is a one-piece spindle, very much like the Victorian silk spindle. So it's one piece of wood, and what makes this particular style unique is that you're going to use the cross in order to create a center pull ball. So this original Scottish design basically is what I would like to compare it. The best way to, or the best tool to compare this to, it would be like a spinning nostepinne. So you have the nostepinne here, and then you have this short little bit right here where you do the spinning. And again, all spinning is putting twist into fiber in order to make it stronger, and then plying, of course, makes it stronger again. So here is the Scottish Dealgan in action. The two that I have featured here, I just wanted to show this one. This is from Scott Snyder. I will, of course, put the link to his shop down in the description. And this is one designed by the Spanish Peacock, a little bit more difficult to come by, but I will absolutely put that shop link down in the description as well. This one could be interesting. I have not spun on a Dealgan in a long time. So there might be quite a few takes on this one, especially when it comes to getting it started. Because it is so heavy, this could be a little bit interesting. All right, I'm going to do this half hitch. Okay, so what I did right there is I fussed with it a little bit, but basically I just wanted the fiber to half hitch. And now that I've gotten that twist started, I could have done it this way as well. I could have simply started rolling this out. Fiber that I'm using is just combed top. But rolling this out onto the table, leg, lap, anything to get it started, just enough to get enough of a leader to create a half hitch. To get it to stay. And so now that I have that half hitch, now I can start spinning. I've always found that spinning on a Dealgan, I tend to get a thicker single. And I'm going to get quite a bit of a leader going. Okay, so now that I have a fairly substantial leader, I will be able to pop off the half hitch. Now, because I'm going to be winding on and I want it to be a center pull ball, I do want my end sort of a little bit lower than where I'm going to be wrapping. And one of the great things with the Spanish Peacock is there's a groove right here. So I'm going to use that groove and I'm going to come around, and then I'm going to come up and start wrapping a few times around. And just like I would a nostepinne. Now, I've got to be careful. I want to make sure, this is where the Dealgan deviates a little bit from any other spindle style. I'm not just going to come straight up to the top, otherwise this isn't going to be secure at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down through one of the grooves, and the nice thing is I've got a cross, so it doesn't matter which groove, and then I'm going to come back up to the top, draft out just a little bit, so pop that on, and so I'm going to be building my center pull ball, but I have it coming through and coming up. So I will start spinning. And because I am a support spindler by nature, I'm always going to support the top. Anytime I've got a shaft that's going to allow me to use my hands, rather than just giving it a flick and rolling with it and letting it swing back and forth, to get it started, I'm going to unwind a little bit, and I'm going to treat this a little bit like a support spindle, just because I want that support until it balances out, and it will balance once you get it spinning. And then once it starts spinning, then I can treat it like a traditional suspended drop spindle. So as I spin, once I get to where I want to wind on, I will pop off the half hitch. Remember to take it out of the groove and then continue winding on as I would wind a nostepinne. Then when I'm ready to spin again, oops, a little too short. When I'm ready to spin again, bringing it under, flipping it, and then starting. Starting again. One of the great things about the Dealgan, or the Scottish style of spindle, it is in much the same way as a Turkish spindle. I'm building a center pull ball that I'm going to be able to apply directly from once I get done. And that's kind of a huge thing in the sense that I'm eliminating the need or the step of having to create a plying ball or to take it off of, how do I want to say this? To create a plying ball or to ball it or to cake it before I start plying. I can just slide it directly off the Dealgan and start plying. The other nice thing about the Scottish style spindle is that it is a one-piece design and it is incredibly solid. This is probably the most portable style of spindle that you can come across. It's just a turned piece of wood, and that's what makes it so incredibly portable. And the half hitch gives you security, so you're not, I don't drop these spindles very often because the half hitch really secures it to the top. You're able to create whatever weight single that you want. You have a lot of options, and depending upon what you're looking for, I've found that Dealgans tend to hold a surprising amount of yarn, and it maintains the single. So the fact that I am supporting my single here, I'm taking off the weight of this. So as I build this ball out, it doesn't matter how heavy this gets, because this piece down here is distributing the weight evenly, and I'm not trying to suspend the spindle just with this single. It's got an additional bit of support down here, which is really, really a brilliant design. The reason why I don't use this particular spindle very often is because it does not in any way, shape, or form transfer or double as a support spindle. It is forever and only a suspended style of spindle. And I have also never been a huge fan of any spindle that you have to do the half hitch, because it's fiddly and it's an extra step. But there are a lot of amazing benefits to using this particular style of spindle. Unfortunately, I'm not getting enough here to demonstrate pulling enough. Let me see if I can, I'll see if I can build up a little bit more to pull it off. What I'm noticing is I've been doing all of these spindle spotlights, and I think I'm glad that I'm doing it, because one of the biggest things that I've noticed, there's a lot of discussion on social media about speed and how fast a spindle is, or how fast you can spin on a spindle. And what I'm noticing, or what I have noticed as I've done these spotlights, it's pretty consistent. Spinning on a spindle is a slow process by nature, but the amount of time it takes me to create yarn is pretty consistent across all of the different styles. So if spindle spinning interests you, find a design that speaks to you and give it a whirl. Because there's definitely something magical about creating your own yarn and then creating something with that yarn that you've made. All right, this is a tiny ball, but a little bit. Oh yeah, that'll work. Okay, so because I have kept that out, so now I have one end and I have my second end, I can just slide it up. Now this is going to collapse on itself because it's not very much, so I'm going to put my thumb in there like so, just to provide a little bit of extra support. So now I have a center pull ball that I could ply from. And yes, you can ply on a Dealgan as well. Let me see. Just have to remember to go in the opposite direction. Checking my, okay, go. Plying is the same way. Take it through, bring it up. Now I have to be careful because I'm going to put a little bit more twist in this, because when I take it off the half hitch, it's going to have to travel back down to, yes, perfectly balanced yarn. So there is, I'll be right back. I need to finish plying this. Otherwise it's going to be on my thumb forever. So this is a plied yarn. Now the downside with plying on a Dealgan, because you are creating that center pull ball, you are going to have to take it off and put it on a nostepinne, or you're going to have to skein it somehow so you can set the twist and wash it. But I wanted to show how such a simple tool can give you such a lovely balanced yarn. Like so. So that was just a very quick demonstration. I've got two styles of Scottish drop spindle or suspended spindle. So this is the Scottish Dealgan. It's basically a nostepinne. So as you wind on, you're building a center pull ball that you can then very quickly go back and ply directly from the ball that you create. So in the same way that the crossarm or Turkish spindle gives you a turtle or a center pull ball as well, the Dealgan does the same thing. So if you're looking for a one-stop spindle that's going to enable you, if you're looking for one tool that effortlessly does both, Turkish spindle or Dealgan would be something to consider, because this is all you need in order to create really lovely balanced yarn. So once again, another non-traditional style of spindle. Thank you so much for checking in. If you have suggestions or would like to see a specific tool or technique, please let me know in the comments. As always, happy spinning.